everyone. I'm Emily Crow, multimedia editor at Progressive Grocer. Welcome to Top Women in Grocery, a podcast focused on the topics, trends, and interests moving women forward in grocery retail. We're spotlighting extraordinary women in the grocery industry who've had successful careers and interesting lives, and who are also making a positive impact in their workplaces and in their communities. I'm here today with Liz Roche, head of measurement at Albertsons Media Collective. Liz began her career working at tech firms like LinkedIn and Groupon and began working in the measurement and attribution space as a data integration engineer at Epsilon. She has also held positions at Meta, Havas, and leading publisher Accelerate 360. Liz, thank you so much for joining us.
Emily, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Great. Well, to start, I always love to hear a little bit about your career journey and how you landed in your current role with Albertsons Media Collective.
Yeah, of course. Well, you definitely hit the high notes on the resume, but I think from a philosophical standpoint, I've really just followed my curiosity through the career. So, not a traditional background to, for example, be a data integration engineer. I was self-taught. Then I went to a boot camp program, and I was always just kind of following that curiosity, and that led me to where I am today. This role in particular, leading measurement and media, is so interesting because we're really bringing the activation all the way through to the measurement output, which to me is really fascinating.
Wonderful. Well, retail media is obviously a massive opportunity for today's food retailers. What can you tell me about how Albertsons Media Collective approaches the business?
I think the collective, and actually Albertsons, we are unique in how we approach the business because we are growth partners for our CPGs. And for us, it's really about addressing all of those needs to drive the business forward and really move the needle. Media is a slice of that, right? There's a lot that happens both in the store.com, obviously out in the media world. So we really think of ourselves as a holistic growth partner, and also a growth partner that is really leaned in and ready to collaborate. We definitely have that test and learn mindset. We're really interested in innovation, and we're really interested in bringing new dynamic solutions to our clients. At the end of the day, we want to make the shopper journey also, really, really powerful. So that's really what we're all about. It's all about thinking about it as really a holistic strategy.
Great. And I know you're passionate about retail media measurement and breaking down silos within the space. How do you envision bringing media and measurement together at the collective?
So I think one thing we can state is that retail media has gotten extraordinarily complex.
Yes.
There's a lot going on, and I think bringing these two functions together serves really two core purposes for me. One is let us take on this complexity and simplify for our partners. We know that there again is a lot for them to juggle when it comes to dealing in retail media. And by bringing these two teams together and really creating strategy end to end, we can simplify it for our partners. I think the second piece goes to more effective media solutions. When we're designing with the end in mind, and in this case, measurement being the end, if you will, we can really design better media products. We can also create tighter feedback loops to optimize and just drive better outcomes. So integrating these two teams, an absolute no-brainer, working really, really well together, and they've always worked well together. But even just getting the teams under one roof has been really great for collaboration and for strategy.
And you mentioned how complex retail media has gotten. It evolves so quickly. How do you remain dynamic and agile while moving quickly to keep up with that evolution?
What's exciting about Albertsons, the collective specifically, and what I've been at the collective for just over 2 months now.
Mhm.
And what really attracted me to the collective was just this culture and this bias for action. And we see that all the way through our teams. So for us, it's really about taking action and trying to live on the bleeding edge of what's happening. That really means that we aren't afraid to question. Nothing's too precious. We're absolutely ready to dig into these more complex business problems and solution, because we understand it's an absolutely evolving territory. So I think there's a cultural element to that. It's just the way that we are in our DNA at Albertsons. I think there's also an organizational element. our teams are deeply embedded. So data science, engineering, media, measurement, product, innovation, these are deeply embedded cross-functional pods. And what I'm finding is that we're really reducing the time between voice of customer feedback and solution delivery by way of having this deep integration. So we're able to be really, really fast and work on the fly, which is it's cool. It's exciting.
I like that phrase, bias for action. It really means you're ready to get in there and work it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And how do you look at measuring and understanding success in retail media? I know it's, again, ever evolving. So, what's your take on that?
Closing the loop has always been one of the big value props of working with a retail media network, right? We have the data. We are built on a foundation of really, really excellent first party data. I think there's more happening though, right? We are seeing our clients again dealing with multidimensional, complex business challenges that might not speak to single KPIs. And so for us, we're really working with our partners to understand how we can move the needle on the business. And a lot of that means looking at some different metrics, understanding what's happening throughout the funnel process. And I hate even referring to the funnel. I like to think of it as more of a flywheel, but visually,
Okay. Yeah.
looking throughout the funnel, but also starting to understand holistically what's happening. How are these channels working together? Where are there opportunities for 1 + 1 to equal 3? Longitudinal opportunities. How are we looking over the course of a quarter, of over the year, right? How are we really driving the business? So I think we're still in early stages
Mhm.
when it comes to measurement. And I think there's going to be a lot more experimentation and a lot more uh, bespoke solutions for different KPIs to address some of those multidimensional business complexities that our partners are seeing today.
Great. So, looking to the future, where do you see retail media heading over the next several years? Where are we going with this massive opportunity?
I think there are a couple places I see it going in my crystal ball, in the comfort of my kitchen, right? Would I think one thing that we're seeing a lot is that our clients want to see more self-service.
Mhm.
They want to collaborate further, and they want to get their hands in the mix there too. So I expect to see the self-service continue to evolve. I also expect to see new channels, both traditional and non-traditional, continue to crop up. One big focus is going to be in-store, and it poses a unique measurement problem or unique measurement challenge,
Sure.
right? To understand in-store, especially when we think about in-store in combination with some of these other channels, which are really easily one-to-one, right? So definitely some complexities there, but exciting in terms of that frontier. I think we're also seeing a little bit of a compression between brand teams and traditional commerce teams. There seems to be a lot more fluidity between
Mhm.
these two. So I think, especially as we continue pushing on self service, I would expect more brand marketers to start experimenting with the audiences and with the measurement. And I'd also expect more non endemic partners to start understanding the audiences and experimenting with them as we move forward here.
Wonderful. Well, finally, we love talking about mentorship and connecting with other women in the industry. What can you tell me about your experiences with that?
Just to start, I've been extraordinarily lucky with mentorship in my career. Starting with my mom, who is a CPG seller, and having an older sister who's also in the CPG space.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so it definitely runs in my DNA. It's part of my DNA. But I also think that as I've been in the workplace, I've been able to get a lot of executive sponsorship and a lot of women specifically giving me seats at tables that I never thought I would ever sit at.
Mhm.
So I think a big part of that has been driven by my curiosity and getting involved in things I truly was interested in. I think that's one way to meet people who are like-minded. If you jump on a project because you find it fascinating, I can guarantee you'll find, other folks who are in the same mindset.
Mhm.
Um, I also think that being part of an alumni program, I went to Kellogg at Northwestern, and the women in my cohort, shout out to 132 at Kellogg, but the women in my cohort have been my board of directors. So every career move, every negotiation, even tough stuff in my personal life. These women have really, really supported me, and I can't thank them enough. On the other side of that, mentorship needs to be a two-way street, right? So I think if there's one thing that I'm trying to bring to both the collective, but also just to the industry, is picking up the phone, paying it forward, and lending a hand, because I know what it's like to be starting out. And I think it's just really important that we have each other.
I love that idea of having a board of directors, someone to kind of help you when the going gets tough, or even not.
Yeah, I had one manager early in my career call it her lifeboat. Who would she put in the lifeboat? I That's a little bit too life or death for me. So
Sure.
I've moved to board of directors, but it's the same concept, right? Who are the people that I need to keep with me because they keep me grounded, or they have the best advice? Yeah.
Great. Well, Liz, thank you so much for sharing your insights and for being here with us today.
Thank you, Emily. I had a great time. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks. For more information about the Top Women in Grocery podcast, please visit www.progressivegrocer.com/podcasts. You can also subscribe to this series wherever you typically listen to podcasts, including on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Finally, do you have an idea for a Top Women in Grocery podcast? I'd love to hear from you. Email me at ecrow@ensembleiq.com. See you next time, and thanks so much for listening.